Hey guys, it's Don Cheadle, a genius playboy billionaire philanthropist. To kick out this channel, I asked my good friend what I should talk about, and he said the Gaza Strip. So like any good friend should, I'm ignoring his request to talk about something else entirely. Fuck video games. Up until recently, I had been playing like 17 hours of old school RuneScape a day, 2 hours for food and the rest was sleeping. Obviously the game was taking over my life, so I decided to quit my life as a high level player and focus on life. That's right, baby, the game of life. And as I moved from one game to another, I realized that video games fucking suck. Why is it no game I've played recently, or in the past few years, has been entirely fun? Notable games I've played are Ark, Call of Duty, and RuneScape. There are so many fucking boring parts to these games. They're supposed to be entertainment and not second jobs. Excuse me for thinking video games should be fun. On RuneScape, the game I have the most experience with, once you pass 13 million experience in a skill, there's absolutely zero new content between 13 million and 200 million experience, which is the experience cap. Not only is the time to get 200 million in all skills estimated at over 18,000 hours, but the only motivation beyond the requisite 13 million experience is high scores, which is near impossible to keep up with competing with those on welfare, account shares, and other rule breakers. It made the game unenjoyable, quite frankly. We'll add to that the fact that most of the game you're competing for spots to train, and once you find your location, you're still training at a maximum of 500,000 experience an hour, but that's only the fastest skills. There are several skills which never reach over 100k an hour. The game is stagnant because of no new meaningful updates, which pains me as I love this game, but the lack of new high-level content ruins the entire experience. I don't know whether or not I'd have liked the game if I wasn't good at it. Moving on to the next game, Ark. Ark, to me, is a fantastic concept. You're a survivor who finds themselves on a beach surrounded by dinosaurs. That is a childhood dream of, I would think, almost everyone. It was definitely one of mine. You've got the ability to build your base how you want it, tame dinosaurs to command, and in some cases even fucking ride into battle. This game has bosses and progression, as well as a truly interesting story that no one cares about. Now you may be asking, Don, how could a game that sounds that great be that terrible? Well, you spawn in and you have to immediately drop your settings because the game is run on an old version of Unreal Engine 3, where they've changed major parts of the engine, so the Unreal Engine will never get updated. The engine to this game will never get updated and it will never get the optimization it deserves. That's shitty, but it doesn't make it a terrible game. Then we move on to the building, which isn't the worst once you get past the low gather rates, compounded by needing to get food and water to survive, as well as running around making sure you don't get consumed by a rogue Tyrannosaurus Rex. Once you get all the materials to build, a mere 10 hours for your 5x5 base, good luck finding a flat spot that allows you to build that hasn't already been built on. Then you'll probably accidentally waste some of your building material by placing it on top of something you already placed, or misplacing something because you can't pick it up. That table you just placed? Nah, I gotta destroy it, mate. Fucking impossible to pick up. You gotta destroy it. Once you have a base of operations, you can move on to taming dinosaurs. How the fuck can this be terrible? Well, first you have to make some tranquilizing arrows or darts, which takes a few hours depending on if you have to do it by hand, if you have increased rates. I mean, it truly does take a long time to get prepared to even tame dinosaurs. Then you have to construct a trap, so you have to gather more resources to build your trap. After the trap and you have it knocked out, depending on the level of the dinosaur, you need more narcotics to keep it under, while you basically force feed it food to make it love you. This process, for even the most basic of dinosaurs, takes multiple hours, where you either have to leave it be and continue on without dinosaurs, or sit around and protect it because God fucking knows that as soon as you leave, this dumbass is gonna come out of fucking nowhere and start killing it. Or other players will kill it, who will at any point also take an opportunity to kill you. Even if you just spawned in with nothing on you but your damn loincloth, you can be rest assured that someone with a fucking max tier sniper rifle is going to just shoot you in the back of the head and then take your fucking wooden club. But I mean, even then, once you can ride dinosaurs, it's pretty fucking cool, right? I mean, but you almost always use the flying ones, so it just gets stale after a while. There's almost no incentive to use land dinosaurs. And then the bosses are pretty shit. There's no real mechanics to them. They're just tank and spank bosses. The most interesting of the bosses is probably the ones where they can fly, because you aren't just biting them with Rexes. You also shoot them with shotguns, right? Because that's what I want in a dinosaur game. to shoot things with shotguns. But you only ever get to shoot them because they never fucking land. These are somehow the most boring boss fights I've ever taken a part of. 40 minutes of running around and taking on the back of a fucking dinosaur. Like, how can this not be cool? While you shoot at a manticore that will never land. Call of Duty, however, has some action. Yeah, there's bullshit in Call of Duty, and no, we're not talking about the fucking single player. No one plays a single player for over 1,000 hours. There's bullshit. Looking at you, fucking jetpack boots. And there's the shit we all raged at. But it is a genuinely action-filled game. You run around a corner, boom, you're dead. And now you get to watch a teammate running and gunning for a few seconds. Before bang, you're right back in it. You're running into battle, constantly watching the score as it goes up, and when the game is getting close, you're either on edge trying to get the last kill, or trying your hardest not to be the last kill. The reason Call of Duty does well is because the games are short and contained. If you're a somewhat rational person, you can move on from the last game and enjoy the next one, even if it was a fucking tilter. Hell, sometimes you can even learn to be a better player from it. I genuinely think that games can learn something from Call of Duty, not that it has to be action-filled all of the time, but the premise of the game should shine through at any point. This is lost in so many modern games. If the premise of the game is so promising, but then they fall short in content, that's a shame. I'd rather a mediocre premise that delivers an experience rather than a large promise that just falls flat when it comes to fruition. That's why I continue to play almost every Call of Duty. The problem with Call of Duty is that every year they remove some of the bullshit from the previous year and add fresh bullshit. It may seem like I'm singing Call of Duty's praises, but I'm not. Remember, all video games fucking suck. We always see how much shit the franchise gets for reskinning the same game over and over, but we can't argue against how well they do. I was just saying that Call of Duty represents what I enjoy most in a video game. The bullshit just overrides that enjoyment after about a week and a half. Anyway, all video games suck. Someone at some point decided they should be boring parts, and I'll see them in hell alongside Brad Pitt and Paris Hilton.